I'm in front of CarMax just outside of Buffalo, New York, where I just sold my car. I'm about to walk across to Key Bank, my local bank branch, and then I'm going to take an Uber home. For the first time in 40 years, I do not own a car.
Well, as you can see, there's no car in my garage and there's no car in the driveway because I sold my car and my only vehicle is my Can-Am Spyder. And we're going to go for a little ride. You'll also notice I had that grass strip in my driveway that I commented on a couple of videos ago that would have been a problem because of the rear wheel of the Spyder, because it was kind of elevated. I didn't intend to put brick paver down, but apparently the guy I had do it had an abundance of them on hand, and he made a deal that I couldn't refuse. So I just got back from the CarMax in Tonawanda, just outside of Buffalo. And in the past, whenever I sold a car, it was a trade-in for a new car. This is the first time in in the past 40 years where I don't own a car, and so I've never had to do what I've got to do right now, and that is turn in my plates to the DMV. I wanted to explain a little bit about why I'm doing what I'm doing, which is ditching the car for the Can-Am Spyder. So I know I've explained it before. I'm a minimalist. I adopted minimalism maybe 15 years ago, and that means different things to different people. There's no rule book on minimalism. At some point I'm gonna do a video on a book I read years ago called The 100 Thing Challenge, and it's about minimalism, but I had a lot of issues with the book, and I'll explain what I mean by that in another video. But my point is, for me, this move is basically going from 2 vehicles to 1, from 2 insurance policies, 2 registrations, 2 annual inspections, 2 different things that I need to have serviced to 1. Will it bring about some discomfort? Like right now it's kind of a misty, it was raining harder earlier when I was in Buffalo, but it's kind of a light mist right now. This isn't a big deal, but believe me, there are going to be discomforts of just owning the Spyder. Now, having said that, I will tell you, I know I'm going to be renting a car and I'm going to be using Uber because I no longer own a car. That's part of the deal. That's part of the calculation for me. I basically looked at it this way. If I wanted to keep that Hyundai Kona that I just sold to CarMax, it would have cost me $950 to keep it insured. It would have cost me, let's say, to have it inspected every year, to have it registered, let's say $1,100 all in, just to park it in the garage, not to drive it. Then I say, okay, I got, you know, a little money from CarMax for my 2018 Hyundai Kona. They gave me what I think was a fair deal. You take that money and you say, okay, I could earn 5% on that money. And I basically came up with a rough number, and I said, okay, if I rent a car, let's say between 20 and 25 days out of the year, and I will be renting a car at least 15, maybe a little more, I'm hoping no more than 25, and I'll explain why I need to rent a car in a bit. It's not just because of snow. It'll still be more, I don't want to say economical, because that's not the right word, but it still makes more sense for me to do what I'm doing, to ditch the car and rent instead of own. Now, I have family in Rhode Island, and I drive 450 miles a few times a year to visit family. Now, some of those trips are holiday trips, like for Christmas, for instance, when the weather is going to be inclement. It's going to be cold, there might be snow. Occasionally we'll have, you know, beautiful 60-degree weather between here and Rhode Island, but I know I'm going to be renting a car to make those trips. And again, I do that a few times a year. Some of those trips are in nicer weather, but some are going to be, you know, in the November, December months. And the other thing is, I know just for my own comfort's sake, there are going to be days when I might want to go somewhere and it's just torrential, it's just a downpour. And while I have rain gear, I could take the Spyder in those days, I might say, you know what, I'm going to take an Uber. There might be a day when I say, okay, I'm going to rent a car for a 24-hour period and I'm going to stock up on such and such at Target or the grocery store. And you know, so I built into my calculation, both the financial calculation and the lifestyle calculation of owning a Spyder as my only conveyance, I built into that the idea that I'd be renting a car multiple times throughout the year. Now, if it turns out this year, over the next 12 months, I rent a car, let's say 30 days out of the year, then my calculations were wrong. And at some point, I reserve the right, obviously, to say, okay, this blew up in my face, this was a bad idea, I'm going to keep the Spyder as a recreational vehicle, but it's not going to be my only conveyance. Beautiful Oakwood Cemetery in Niagara Falls. The calculation was much more complicated than that. I put a lot of thought into it. I've been thinking about doing this for really a year. But that's the simplified version of the calculation. I just wanted to kind of lay it out there for you. So the Spyder Minimalist is now truly a Spyder Minimalist with only a Spyder to ride. That's the DMV building, so I am going to find a parking space here and then I'm going to sign off. I just want to thank you for helping my channel grow as quickly as it's growing. While I started it on January 1st, I didn't really kick it into gear until March 13th. Today is April 2nd, when I bought the Spyder. So I accumulated far more subscribers to date than I thought I would, and that's thanks to you. So I sure do appreciate it. Have a great day. I'll be cutting a lot of videos soon because, one, we've got the solar eclipse coming real soon. Parking brake. And the other thing is the weather's it's going to be kind of like this for the next couple of days, but the weather's about to turn. I want to lock this wheel here. The weather's about to turn really nice in the next couple of days. So I'll be shooting a lot of video and I hope you'll come along with me. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.